Welcome to lecture 3 of module 1 on Python for researchers. In previous 2 lectures we have learned how to use the basic syntaxes and how to assign values to the variable and what kind of data you can assign to the variables. So now in lecture number 3 what we will be learning is the operators. Operator means just like mathematical operators, logical operators, and so on. So mathematical operations, 4 very famous operations that we already know, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In addition to that, we will also be learning some other operations as well. So first of all, the first operation is the addition. So addition means just simply adding two variables. If I say x is equal to 6 plus 8, so if I print x, so it will just add 6 and 8. So I think I don't need to give more time to this thing. And also subtraction, the example is also given there, x is equal to 10 minus 5, and now if I print x, so x will be obviously 5. So let's have another example, y is equal to, or I can say just x is equal to 9, y is equal to 6, and z is equal to x minus y, and print z. So what it will do, it will subtract y from x, so 9 minus 6, so 9 minus 6 is 3, so we are getting 3 here. Multiplication, simple. If I write print 3 multiply by 7, so it will just give me 21. And then there is an important point here. If you multiply a string with an integer, so obviously that will not like in algebra, if we multiply 3 by x, we get 3x. But here in Python, if you multiply 3 by a string, then you will get the integer repeated that times. Like let's suppose if I say x is equal to Pakistan, and now if I write print 3 multiply by x, so it will just print 3 times Pakistan. And if you add space here, so it will just add spaces in the end, and whatever the number of times you write there. Similarly, division thing, so just like x is equal to 16 divided by 4, and then print x, so 16 divided by 4 is 4, so it is writing 4 here. And be careful, division always convert into float, because we can get decimal answers as well. So by default the division always return answer in float type. Then we have integer division. That is something new for those who are just aware of 4 mathematical operations. So integer division is when we divide two numbers, we get quotient and remainder. So integer division will give you the return only the whole number part of the result. That means the quotient thing. Just like if I divide 15 by 4, so 4 times 3 is 12, so I will just get 3, because 4 times 4 is 16, so it will not move beyond 15. So that is called integer division thing. So this is very logical thing when we are just doing some programs to check whether a number is divisible by 4 or not. So we can just use that thing as well, and also the modulo operator that is coming forward. So for integer division, if I say just like x is equal to 15 double slash, and let's suppose I say 7, so 7 times 2 is 14, so I will get 2 as a result. Print x, so 2. And modulo is just the remaining part that we have left. So 15 divided by 7, so obviously when you do the long division, 7 times 2 is 14, and 1 will be the remainder, so it will give you the remainder. So if I say x is equal to 15 modulo 7, and now if I print x, so I will get 1, because 7 times 2 is 14 and 1 is still there, so 1 is the remainder thing. So this is very useful when you are finding out whether a number is divisible by some number or not. So in logical operators we will see that, like let's suppose if I see whether 60 is divisible by 14 or not. So if I'm getting 0 in modulo operator, so that means that is divisible by 16. If I'm not getting 0, then it will be not divisible. Let's have an example. Y is equal to 80 and modulo 4, so the result will be 0. Print y, so 0. That one is for that command which I ran. I can just comment it out in the beginning so that Python does not read that command. So 0. So y is 0 because when you divide 80 by 4, it will be exactly divisible and remainder will be 0. So the modulo operator just gives the remainder. Now the next is exponential. In other programs we use the root symbol like this to find out the powers, but here we just write the static button twice. So let's say x is equal to 2 to the power of 3, and now if I print x, so it will give me cube of 2, that is 8. So that's very simple. Now after the basic arithmetic operations, we have the arithmetic assignment operator. Assignment means just assigning some number. So if I say x is equal to 10, it does not mean that x is equal to 10. It means that now x will have a value of 10. If you are checking the logic like whether x is equal to 10 or not, like x is 5 and now I'm checking whether x is 10 or not. So that is the other thing that we will be doing in further just few seconds. So assignment operator is when you want to assign a number. So x is equal to 10, so x will be 10 now. And there are other short assignments like plus equal, minus equal, multiply equal, divide equal. Let me give you example. Let's suppose if I say x is equal to 4, and now if I say x plus equal 5. So what it will do, it is just same as writing x is equal to x plus 5. That means whatever the previous value of x is, you just add 5 into it. Now if I print x, so you can see first x is 4 and then it added 5 into it. And if you just like copy and paste this command 4 times, 2, 3, 4, now you can see it is just adding 5 each time. Means writing this is same as x equals the previous value of x plus 5. We will see that in loops when we study that we will not have to, if I want to add 5 10 times, I will not have to repeat this command 10 times. I will just give a command, the Python will automatically run this command 10 times. So that can be done with the minus thing as well, multiply thing, divide thing. So if I change this into multiplication, so each time it will multiply the previous answer by 5. Like in geometric series, we multiply by common ratio, so this can be used in that thing. Now we have comparison operators. Comparison operation that I was talking about in this example. So comparison operators are when we are comparing two things, like whether first thing is equal to the second thing or not. It's less than, not equal to, greater than, or more than or equal to. So the answer for this is always a Boolean thing, means either true or false. Now let's suppose if I want to check whether 5 is equal to 10 or not. So 5 equal to 10. So false, because 5 is not equal to 10. Right? And similarly, if I say 5 is not equal to 10, it will give me true, because yes, 5 is not equal to 10. Is 5 greater than 10? False. No, it is not greater than. Is less than? True. Is less than or equal to? True. Is more than or equal to? False. Right? So these are the comparison operators that we use to find out whether the two logics are equal or not. So let's have an example of that. If I say x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 10, print x is greater than y. So it will not print x is greater than y. It will it means this will return either true or false. In our case, since x means 5 is greater than y, is not greater than y, so it is why returning false thing here. And if you want to print that, you will have to write that in quotation. So now this is just a string thing. It is not not the variables. Right? I hope it is clear. Now the logical operators. Logical operators are just like and, or, and not. So let's have an example. Maybe the example can make it more clear. X is equal to 5, y is equal to 10, and z is equal to 3. Let's suppose if I say print x is less than y and y is less than z. So I am asking Python to check two conditions. First is whether x is less than y, and at the same time also check y is less than z. So the output will be first of all, the Python will check whether x is smaller than y or not. So I'm just writing in comment here. x is less than y. Is x less than y? Is 5 less than 10? Yes, so it will give me true. And the second condition is y is less than z. So is y less than z? Y is 10, z is 3. No, that is false. So and condition means if both of the conditions are true, then it will be true, otherwise it will be false. So in this case it will give me false. Now if I just replace this by greater, so now this condition will be true and this will be true. So that is the AND operator. AND operator means if you have two conditions, both conditions must satisfy, then it will return true, otherwise it will be false. But if you use the OR statement, so OR means if any one of them is true, the whole thing will also be true. So if any one of them is true, it will be true. So that is just the basic thing. True and true makes true. True and false is also true in ORs. False and true is also true. False and false is false. But in AND, both of them must be true, then it will be true, otherwise in all cases it will be false. And NOT is just the opposite thing. Like in set notation we say the complement thing or just the opposite thing. Means if the answer is true and if I just write NOT before it, like instead of making it more complicated, I'm just writing this. So what do you think? Is x smaller than y? Let me erase that comment. Print x is less than y. So x is less than y? Yes, obviously it is less than y. But if I say print not x is less than y, and obviously print needs bracket, so first bracket is for print. So not x is less than y, that means whatever the answer of this thing is, you have to write the opposite of that. So the answer will also be in Boolean terms, that is true or false. After logical operations, we have membership operations. Membership operation means we have to check whether some element or some number is in that list or not. So let's suppose if I just make a list, my underscore list, that is a variable. We will learn what are list and what are the tuples and what is set, means data types, in the further lectures. So my list, so I'm making a list. So this is just a variable. In variable we don't have only one value, we have 5 values here. Means you can just print this as well, my list. So you can see 1 2 3 4 5. So these are just 5 numbers here. Now I want to check whether 3 is in my list or not. So print 3 in my list. So it will just return me true or false. If 3 is in the list, means in the variable which I have made, if 3 is in my list variable, then it will return yes. If it is not, it will return false. So yes, it is. Print 10 in my list. Oh, I made a mistake. My list. So false, because 10 is not in my list. So this is how we use the list. And also not in, print 10 not in my list. So actually what it is doing is, not is just the previous command, logical operators, the comparison operators, whether it is there or not. So not is just the returning the opposite thing. So 10 not in my list, yes, true, 10 is not in my list. So that is returning me not thing. So thank you very much for watching this lecture. See you in next.